Alright, welcome back everyone. Just want to know how everyone's doing today. Been a pretty weird couple days for me. Still stuck in a little bit of a Pokemon rut. Happens to the best of us. And everyone, it will happen to you at some point. So for today, I figured I'd see how my teams are working. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna get 3 battles off with 3 teams. So first team being the Tailwind Mawile team. Second team actually being my original VGC team from this year, as you'll see it on screen. Excuse me about that. And then this new team I recently created the other day, well, more like yesterday, which is more of a modified version of my older team. But today we shall start off with the Tailwind Mawile team and see how that works off for one battle. And I figured, using 3 different teams will let you see into how different teams work separately. Alright, so let's get started. And we'll have Tailwind Mawile up first. And let's hope it does well today, as you have Rotom, Talonflame, Kangaskhan, Aegislash, Garchomp, and Whimsicott. Alright, so right away, my strongest open is the Gengar, seeing as he can hit anything on my opponent's team for reasonable damage, and can get some quick Will-O-Wisp off. Next best Pokemon to open with, I would say to be most likely someone we can protect with. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to take, well, you want to have protecting Pokemon because of the Kangaskhan. That way you can get a protect off or other things. But I feel like Kangaskhan is going to be in the open. I don't think my opponent will open Kangaskhan Talonflame, given that I have Suicune and Thundurus, even Mawile. So I'm actually going to take Virizion. And I want to take Hydreigon only to hit that Aegislash better in the late game. And my closer will be, I want to take Mawile, seeing as I can hit anything it has for a high amount of damage. But I'm not taking too much speed control, so I'm a bit worried about that. But with the Choice Scarf Hydreigon, I should be fine. As my confidence isn't exactly the greatest, and that's something I have to reflect about in Pokemon. You have to be confident, because if you're not confident, then you're pretty much screwed. As he does open Gengar, as I open Gengar Virizion to his Kangaskhan and Whimsicott, which is not the worst but not the best. It's an optimal lead matchup, of course. But question is, what's he going to do? I can predict that thing. It's either going to fake out or protect this turn with a Tailwind. So my main concern is I'm not too worried about Whimsicott here. It can't do too much damage with that team it has. If there was a Gengar next to it, I'd be a bit more worried. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try and Will-O-Wisp the Kangaskhan, lower its damage output, and I'm actually going to protect with Virizion, given that it might actually be a fake out Kangaskhan given the team, as it is very reflective of VGC 2014. Actually, it's a very common 2014 team here. The Talonflame, the Rotom, the Aegislash, the Garchomp. The only difference I think is the Whimsicott, but even I'm not too sure if Whimsicott was in that generation, as I do get the Protect off, but he's most likely going to get a Tailwind up here as he goes for the Charm into Virizion. Wow. Ooh, so that was a worthy prediction. Alright, so now that I know that he's going for Charms, I'm actually going to switch out Virizion, bring in the Hydreigon. Let's just hope it doesn't have Moonblast. That would be some torture. So I'm going to go into Virizion. Oops, wrong switch there. I'm actually going to Sludge Bomb the Whimsicott and switch Virizion out into Hydreigon. I'm going to keep Virizion around only as a Kangaskhan counter. And as I do get the Encore and Smart by my opponent, as it is Focus Sash, do I get the poison here? No. The Shadow Ball does connect, but it is not enough damage. Alright, so my opponent most likely going to protect this turn, as I am just going to Icy Wind, and I am going to Dark Pulse is my most effective move here. I'm going to do the most damage to my opponent. So I'm going to Dark Pulse the Aegislash and Icy Wind. In case he has a switch in, his speed will be lowered, and the Dark Pulse will be doing as Whimsicott protects. Aegislash also protects, as expected. So the combination of these two moves should actually, the burn damage is going to bring Aegislash down into KO range. So I can kill both. I can knock out both of these Pokemon in one turn. The reason I'm going for Icy Wind is in case of a switch in, slow it down the following turn. Not that it's needed with these two Pokemon being very fast, but chip damage is always very important. I would go for a Sludge Bomb, but as it's a crit, I don't think the crit was needed there. Icy Wind connects, taking out the Whimsicott. Perfect. Now it's down to my opponent's last two Pokemon. As I am feeling, it's probably going to be Rotom here. Or the card. It is the Rotom Wash. Alright, so it's even better now that I have this Hydreigon out. As I'm going to Will-O-Wisp the Kangaskhan once again. And I'm actually going to switch Hydreigon out. Because I feel like its speed will be stronger. And I'm going to bring Mawile in just for the pure Intimidate. I don't think Mawile is even needed in this match to win. As that's probably the better option here. Now my opponent taking his time to pick his turn, realizing he is behind now. And this Intimidate is going to go a long way. As it does Mega Evolve, telling me that it's not going to fake out, but most likely going to take out the Gengar. Which is perfectly understandable, but now I get a free Virizion switch in here. Now with Virizion in here, I can safely just close combat the Kangaskhan. And I'm just going to Mega Evolve and play rough the Rotom Wash. And reason being, it can't do too much to me as he goes for the return. Not going to KO me because the Intimidate connects with the Wisp on. I am very confused as to what's happening. Did my opponent get a Tailwind up at some point? Oh yeah, it did. Huh. Well, that goes to show on me. Wow. Yeah, sometimes you need to pay attention. As Tailwind actually is supposed to peter out soon. I think it went for like a goodbye Tailwind. I should have paid more attention to that. As my opponent actually forfeits. Huh. Oh well, GG to my opponent, and the Tailwind Mawile team actually picks up a win here. Alright, that is impressive. Now, second team of the day, I'm actually going to go back into my old team here. And as you guys can see, it looks like a pretty structurally sound team. It has Salamence, Sylveon, Terrakion, Bisharp, Amoonguss, and Zapdos. At first, when I built this team, I built it as Tailwind support for Mega Salamence because I felt like Mega Salamence needed the Tailwind overall. And the Tailwind on Mega Salamence helping behind is Adamant. I mean, the reason I go with Adamant over Jolly is because you still outspeed Mega Kangaskhan, which is the strongest Mega in the game, and you have a chance to one-hit KO it, and which I feel is very important. And this team I spent a long time building, and I feel like it's lost its power because of the way the meta has changed. So if anything, this team would need some tweaks and adjustments for the new meta. But still, these Pokemon are very strong and hard meta counters in the first place. Alright, now let's look for a battle. As there's that fabled friend guard Clefairy. I almost want to say Clefable, but it's Clefairy. And the Torterra actually catches my eye. I wouldn't know how to handle Torterra too well, except for, well, Mega Salamence can just hit everything on this team like a truck. That's pretty obvious. So I'm actually going to open Terrakion Bisharp. Not too much you can do to handle that except for the speed boost Blaziken. But then I'm actually going to take my own Sylveon, seeing as I can do a lot of damage to his team. And Salamence, no need for too much of anyone else here. Other than that, yeah, I should be able to handle his team fairly well with those four. Now, another issue could be is I'm predicting it to be Mega Gyarados. Most likely going to be Mega Gyarados here. As Terrakion and Bisharp, one of the best opens I could bring. Now, Terrakion has a moveset of Rock Slide, Quick Guard, Close Combat, and Protect. I usually switch between Quick Guard and Double Kick because I find that sometimes I need the Double Kick to take out this Miracle or the Focus Sash Bisharp. You just never know when those Pokemon are getting in your way. So I'm actually going to Rock Slide, and I'm going to knock off the Cresselia. Reason being, any Pokemon coming in is going to take a lot of residual damage as Rock Slide connects and is resisted. But Knockoff here should pick up the KO on Cresselia, which is a Pokemon that does concern me in case he was going for a Trick Room. And I get the flinch. Wow. You know, that's the beauty of using Rock Slide. You can score some flinches as the Blaziken comes in. Now, what I'm actually going to do here is... See, I'm going to predict Blaziken to protect to an extent, or him attack. I'm predicting him to attack. So I'm actually going to protect, and I'm going to switch out Bisharp. And I feel like there's a fighting move coming into that slot. So I'm actually going to switch out into Sylveon. Probably not the smartest move, but I need to conserve that Bisharp in case he does have the Gyarados in the back. As he goes for the Sword Stance. Oh, wow. And the Woodhammer prediction. Alright, so I'm actually going to Close Combat Blaziken and Hyper Voice. Seeing as if Blaziken goes for a Flare Blitz or any type of attack, ooh, smart by my opponent. But I'm actually going to Close Combat the Blaziken this turn. So Sylveon goes down, but the close combat should pick up the knockout on the Blaziken, as I'm actually going to send out Bisharp next, hoping my opponent has that Gyarados to get the +1 boost. And Bisharp is actually a Life Orb Bisharp, as I am correct. It's as Terrakion is weakened, but I'm actually going to switch Terrakion out of the Salamence, and I'm actually going to protect with the Bisharp. Now, I understand that Gyarados might be able to get off a Dragon Dance, but this Intimidate is going to go a long way, as Gyarados does go for the Dragon Dance, dropping the Intimidate, as he goes for the Earthquake. But there's some real pressure here now, as to my appel, I accidentally put double team on Salamence instead of double edge. That happens with Showdown. Alright, well, there goes my game plan. Not really, but it's still a hilarious game plan. As I can't do too much because I can't change the moves in the middle of the battle. So I'm actually just gonna protect and try and play it out for what it is. I feel like an idiot right now. Oh well, it happens, guys. You know, sometimes you bring the wrong Pokemon, as I am able to get the Sucker Punch off, but there's not too much I can do as it is resisted, and he goes for the Waterfall into my Bisharp. Does not KO, interestingly. And I'm actually free to Earthquake this turn. And I'm actually going to Sucker Punch again, but this time into Torterra. I feel like if I get the right Sucker Punch off, point is hit one of these guys hard, as that does do a lot of damage, and yeah, it does do quite a bit with as I get the Earthquake off, it is resisted, does a decent amount to Gyarados. Stone Edge is not going to do much of anything, and Terrakion back out. So this is the funny part. I only have Earthquake on Salamence, so I'm actually gonna Dragon Dance, and I'm going to close combat with Terrakion, I guess. I'm gonna close combat Torterra because I need to take out Torterra. I need to edit that team. Accidents happen, I guess. Issue being is, well, I was redoing the Salamence stats, and he doesn't appear to have Ice Fang. So close combat does connect Torterra, and Mega Salamence does get the Dragon Dance off. Single target Earthquake should KO from this range, as my opponent actually forfeits. I mean, realizing he doesn't have the win here, so my old team's still proving to be pretty strong against the Mega Gyarados. That's really great. So excited here. And now time for the last team, the team I recently built the other night, consisting of Mega Salamence, Ferrothorn, Rotom-Wash, Sylveon, Terrakion, and Tornadus T. Let's see how this goes today. And let's hope we find an opponent quickly, as we do. And he has Salamence. Wow. We got our cores down to each other. Our team core. Epic. As I'm actually going to open Sylveon. Being as I built this team myself, I understand where the weakness in his team is. So Sylveon is going to hit almost anything hard, since Sylveon is Choice Specs and carries the Hidden Power Ground. Sylveon, and I wouldn't have a way to hit the Dusclops here. I don't have a way to hit Dusclops here. As this Salamence does carry the double edge, I was double checking there. So Sylveon's my obvious open here. Hits just about anything he has hard. I'm actually going to open Sylveon Tornadus, seeing as I got Heat Wave on there, so I can hit just about anything he can hard. The Hurricane will hit hard. He also has Icy Wind in his Life Orb, so I will hit most of his team for super effective damage. Gives me an immediate way to threaten the Conkeldurr too. And then I'm going to take Salamence, and last Pokemon will be Terrakion. Most likely Terrakion. I feel like that's probably my best option against him here. But then again, Terrakion can only hit the Ferrothorn. But then Rotom-Wash is also a strong option here. But I feel like I already have my Heatran covered, so I'm not too worried about Heatran. So I should be more worried about a Mega Salamence counter. And actually, you know, I'm going to opt in for a Rotom-Wash on my own team, so I can get the Will-O-Wisp off, and Hydro Pump, Protect, and Thunderbolt. So I'm going to bring my own Rotom-Wash here, as my opponent opens with Salamence and Conkeldurr. Perfect, actually. Perfect opening here, as I can immediately threaten the Conkeldurr. So I'm actually going to Hyper Voice here, and I'm going to Hurricane. Yeah, Hurricane here. I just need to get rid of it as soon as possible. It might Wide Guard, it might not Wide Guard. He has to have Double Edge on that Salamence to KO my Sylveon. And if not, I mean, even if it Mega Evolves, Tornadus Therian form is actually faster than Mega Salamence, as he does switch out here into Ferrothorn, but he protects. Okay, cool. I actually get the Hurricane off, which is great, and it's actually confused. So, that doing a lot of damage, actually letting me know that another Hyper Voice will KO. I have no reason not to Hyper Voice, but what I'm actually going to do is Icy Wind and get a reasonable amount of damage here. I don't think he's going to expect the Icy Wind. I am faster than him. So, at least I know I get to KO Ferrothorn this turn. Wow, Hurricane doing its job. So, I can KO both Pokemon this turn as Ferrothorn hurts itself on Confusion. Icy Wind picking up the KO with a crit. Oh wow. And Hyper Voice connects here as the Tornadus T proving to be a monster. I mean, Tornadus is one of those Pokemon you want to have to try out at some point. Granted, it's not too effective. It's more like you want to get the feel for him in the simulators. So I'm actually going to Hyper Voice. And I'm gonna Hurricane, and there's not much I can and can't do about this. He can Wide Guard. I don't want to switch Sylveon out, seeing as I don't have a Pokemon that should be taking some damage. As smart by my opponent, as he gets a sub up, but Hyper Voice hits through sub, as it is resisted here. But I'm not too worried, seeing as I got Rotom in the back. So I'm gonna Hyper Voice once again, and get the Hurricane off one more time. I mean, it's pretty much game here, given my last two Pokemon are Salamence and Rotom Wash, seeing as I can Earthquake break us up, get a Hydro Pump off. Heatran does protect here. The Hurricane missing, but Hyper Voice does connect here, KOing him. Wow, as this opening may actually pick up the 4-0 win, and even if I hadn't crit the Salamence, it'd still be a very solid, a still solid finish, because I do have Rotom Wash. Double Edge on himself, other things like that. As he does get the Heat Wave off, should do considerable amount of damage, but not KO, as I do connect with the Hyper Voice. I mean, I guess I'm getting pretty lucky landing all these Hurricanes too. But for the most part, I'm doing considerable amount of damage. I could go for the 4-0 here, switch out, because he does Tornadus Therian form also has Regenerator. So, as I'm actually going to switch out into the Rotom Wash to let my opponent know that I'm going to call it game for him. Oops, wrong Pokemon. So I'm just going to Hyper Voice once again, switch out into Rotom Wash, just to let him know that he doesn't have a chance of winning because I have a Rotom Wash, which pretty much counters Heatran straight out. As I get another Hyper Voice off, doing quite a bit of damage. But having Rotom Wash pretty much guarantees the win here, as a Hydro Pump will KO. He can possibly get it. Actually, Rotom Wash is faster than Heatran in all aspects. So Hydro Pump from Rotom Wash should KO, as my opponent is stalling out the battle here. But, I mean, for the most part, it's game. There's no way he can withstand a Hydro Pump, and from that range anyways. Rotom Wash being very effective with his team. So as you can see, there's another team, and I feel like today really helped boost my confidence, because I haven't been feeling too confident lately in my battles either. Mainly because I've been feeling dragged out from the game as my opponent leaps here, but we pick up a third win with my third team. Wow. That's actually pretty fun. You know, these are 3 teams I can actually take to tournaments, and I have them all in my game. So I do want to try more of these teams out, and that's actually pretty fun. So let me know what you guys thought of today's battles. You know, did you guys like seeing 3 different teams in action? And for the most part, that was a great episode, and thank you to everyone. Hope to see you guys tomorrow. Bye.